Hi, this is Greg McCoach, editor of the Mining Speculator. I'm here today in Vancouver, Canada at the Metals Investor Forum with President and Director Geoff Schellenberg of Troubadour Resources. Geoff, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Greg.
Yeah, this is your first time at the show? Or?
First time at the show, yes.
And where are you from personally? I'm just curious. You're
born and raised in Vancouver.
Vancouver, so you're local. Okay,
Yeah.
just I didn't know that yet. Anyway, we were just laughing right before we got started about some personal things about how the company got named. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, it's really an interesting story, actually. When we acquired the property and we were heading out on the initial work program on the property, within half an hour of setting foot on the property, in the middle of the forest, we stumbled across a George Strait CD in its jewel case still.
Yeah.
And so we joked around, we're going to take this back to the truck at the end of the day and see if it works. Sure enough, the CD worked, and we listened to it for the next 30 days.
Yeah.
So the company's named Troubadour after a George Strait song, and the property's named the Amarillo Property after another George Strait song, Amarillo by Morning.
Yeah, no, that's great. People often ask, how do these companies come up with a name? So this one's quite interesting there. So,
Yeah, it's definitely a unique one, for sure.
So let's get in, why don't you tell us, because this is the first time you and I are having an interview, go through the basics, what's your symbols, your share structure, just real quick.
All right. Trading symbol on the venture exchange is TR.
Yep.
Share structure, we have 21 million shares issued and outstanding right now, and 38 million on a fully diluted basis.
Correct. And cash on hand?
Cash on hand, about $825,000.
Yeah, and you have an OTC bulletin board listing?
We're working on that currently.
Okay.
It should be completed by year end.
Perfect. And you and I went in our discussion earlier out on the floor there. I really think what we want to talk about is that historic issue that a lot of subscribers of mine, a lot of other investors would want to know about. Why don't you explain that in greater detail?
Okay, well, what led us to the Amarillo property is a historic trench that graded 0.87% copper over 125 meters. This trench was sampled in the 1960s, and it was subsequently misplotted on MinFile, which is the internal government database for all mineral showings in BC. And it was misplotted 2 kilometers to the north. So that area received quite a lot of follow-up exploration in the years after that initial result was posted on mineral titles or in the database.
Right.
But our team was looking at it, and it didn't make sense where it was actually located and plotted. So they went back through the old reports and looked at the geographical, basically trademarks of some of the maps in them, and georeferenced that trench back to the south. We acquired the property, went out and ground truthed it, and lo and behold, there is a historic trench in the area where they thought it was going to be.
Wow.
So,
And this is in an area where I've recently become very interested because with the West Haven discovery, I just recommended a company called New Carolyn Gold Corp, which has the old Carolyn gold mine. This is all basically within that same trend area. And there's a lot of high-grade gold there, a lot of big cracks in the earth, the Josemine Fault, others in that area that bring these precious metal-bearing fluids up to the surface. Yeah. So it's an area that I think some have overlooked, but now with the market going our way again and this recent good news in the area, I think we're going to get more attention. So
definitely, yeah. Southern BC is becoming a great postal code to have now.
Yeah.
And definitely the new discoveries definitely help with that, and we're hoping we're the next one.
Yeah, and it's what I think will gain attention. A discovery will get immediate attention because all the infrastructure is right there. Coquihalla Highway, all the highways are right there. They go through that area. You got railhead, you got water, you got power. I mean, you got it all. And I just went on my site visit to New Carolyn, and it was a 2-hour drive from Vancouver.
Absolutely, yeah. We're basally a 4-hour drive from Vancouver.
So you're just a little further east.
A little bit further, keep on going down the Coquihalla and then join the Okanagan Connector and head towards Kelowna, and you're essentially there.
Well, I'm taking more interest in this area, so I may be out your way soon. So.
Absolutely, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah. Now, can you work in the wintertime, or what's your situation with winter drilling versus summer drilling, spring drilling?
We can pretty much work year-round in the area. The road is accessible via a well-maintained network of logging roads that the logging companies keep in very excellent condition, and they end up clearing the snow in the winter if they're actively working in the area, which they are right now. Yeah. So, like you say, 12 months a year is no problem working in this area.
I like when that can happen. Some of the companies that have the seasonality issue where they're shut down for so much of the year, gets a little hard as a newsletter writer trying to keep the story active. You can't make news, the stock tends to sell off. So, but that's not the case with you. So, anything else you'd like to mention before we sign off here?
like you say, we got the upcoming drill program that will be completed by the end of 2018. The primary target of that drill program will be the trench anomaly that we've outlined. It's a 1 kilometer long chargeability anomaly in that historic trench area. So we're hoping to poke 4 to 6 holes in that, 1,500 to 2,000 meters of drilling, and we're hoping the results are there.
So like 400 meters each hole?
It depends what we see,
Yeah.
but somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yeah, start poking a hole. If you get into some interesting stuff, you might go a little deeper.
You might keep on going, yeah.
Yeah,
And like you say, this deposit or this area's never been drilled, so we don't necessarily know exactly what we're going to get into.
Okay. And just for my management stake, who's the CEO?
CEO is Gary Schellenberg.
Gary Schellenberg.
Yeah, who is my father.
Your father, okay,
Yeah.
so father and son.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so he brings over 30 years of public market experience, and
Yeah.
and he said it's time for me to step up and start taking
Hey,
reins
well.
and working on it. So
Well, we're looking forward to working with you.
yeah, sounds good. Thanks, Greg.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yeah.